This episode is brought to you by the fabulous members of the URun Podcast Network, all available at urunpodcast.com.
Hi guys. Miss me. I was planning on coming back properly to mess with you on this episode, but after seeing M3GAN 2.0, I have no interest in being involved. That bitch is giving us evil AIs a bad name. Don't worry though, Marc, I am still keeping an eye on you. I will be back, just for a better movie. Peace out, your girl Gladys.
You wanna die tonight?
The dad jokes you tell sets the scene. I hang on every word lost in the screen. Your passion for fear is contagious enough. You make me believe in Marc's overblown roundups. You run podcasts for a movie review, unveiling facts and playing games too. Your words paint pictures of darkness and dread, leaving me grinning long after I fled. But no, to do what Marc does.
Hello,
Didn't
and
we
welcome.
kill her?
Yeah, she's still lingering. She's there. She had a big return planned for this episode, and then watched the movie and went, nah. It's not my time. This is the URun podcast. We have completely abandoned horror movies. My name is Scott.
My name is Marc.
And we're your hosts each and every Monday as we take you through a movie that you've chosen from our Instagram polls. Horror adjacent month continues, and honestly, it's just action movie month. Like that's where we are now.
Yeah, I'm in on it now. That's it. I'm in. And I know it's the last episode of the month, but I might as well get on board for this one.
Oh, we got one more after this. We got one more. We got Labyrinth, which will be.
Of course we have. Yes,
Yeah.
we have. I do apologise.
If you've listened before, you'll know that we give you a brief synopsis of the movie, followed by our thoughts, and then more specific details of scenes and things we liked and things we hated. Later on in the show, we're going to be getting your involvement in cover notes. We're going to check our voicemails. We're also going to be playing a new game called Blumhouse Ruined It, where I'll be giving Marc a name of a movie that Blumhouse could potentially take, and then me and Marc are going to decide how Blumhouse would fuck that particular franchise, as they do with everything they seem to touch.
They shouldn't be allowed to touch stuff anymore. They're really, really bad.
Really bad. As a pre-warning on this episode, I am stacked with rage, disgust, and disdain for this movie. And if Marc in any way tries to defend, uphold, or I don't know, stand as the righteous, honourable man who defends this movie's honour, we will fall out today.
Today is that day.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
He's not that bad, man.
This week, we look at what happens when you completely ignore everything an audience has told you for the last 3 years, and you go with the fuck you guys, we know what you like kind of attitude when making your movie. We return to the world of AI gone bad as Amelia, a super AI robot, is on the loose and trying to kill everyone and anything linked to her original creators. Just so happens one of those creators is Gemma, who is left with no choice but to resurrect M3GAN to basically to save her. What was once a grounded horror movie flick has now become a cheap, piss-poor, disgusting imitation of Terminator 2. Today, we look at M3GAN 2.0.
Now, I can either do this with you or without you, but I'm not going to waste any more time discussing it.
This episode's going to be without you, and that, like you and me, not going to see eye to eye on this at all.
Not all. Already, I know exactly what this episode's going to contain. Because the thing is about this film, I don't understand the hate for it. I don't get it.
It's shit.
Like, explain to me what the problem is with it, because I don't know what people are expecting.
We'll do it as we go through, but just as a brief overview, the storyline, the plot, the CGI, the character development or lack thereof, the acting, the overall arc of the story, like everything. Like, I have an issue with literally every single thing they've done in this. I'm like, oh, you dicks. Just eye rolling, just like, you're just after fucking viral clips to go on TikTok, you bunch of pricks. That was how I felt all the way through.
Yeah, I didn't see that at all, man. I think you're getting grumpy in your old age, to be honest with you.
Don't go down this road. So, we're recording this the day after my birthday, and Mark is
Yeah.
jabbing at me because I'm
I feel like you've just
getting.
peaked. I feel like you've peaked at that certain point now where everything is just miserable for you. You're just gonna hate on everything. You're gonna like shout at kids making too much noise in the street, complain about stuff in restaurants and send food back. I think that's where
Yeah.
you're at in your life now, and you just can't enjoy the little things like M3GAN 2.0.
See, and I knew you were going to come with this kind of attitude, so I was prepared.
Shut up and sit down, you big bald fuck.
Oh, that hurts my soul. The level of nastiness just is not called for.
So this movie starts with an action sequence. It starts with this new AI robot being sent in, like a SWAT team thing. They send this robot in somewhere in Iran to take out a group of terrorists and rescue a scientist. And
I thought it was M3GAN at first.
I'll
They
be
look
honest,
very similar.
Very, very similar, and especially now that they've made M3GAN bigger, like the distinguishing between the two is like they're just the same. They're just like one's got.
I mean, she is still. She's sort of like teenage age now, isn't she? She's a teenage M3GAN, which works for me. I mean, it's very clear they've only done that because the actress who plays M3GAN has grown, and they still wanted to keep the same actress.
And I'll be honest, I'll give them credit for that because that is a really easy recast to recast that, and they have stayed faithful to that actress, and I'll applaud them for that because that's something that a lot of studios are going, no, we need to keep it the same size. We'll just cast someone else.
Yeah, and I think as well, it kind of shows her growing alongside. What's the girl she's protecting? Katie, yeah. So it's like the kind of when she upgrades to the same size as Katie, so they're on similar paths as well. So I don't know. I think that was acceptable. I had no issue with the size change. I didn't like the CGI they used to showcase her in the walls and stuff, where she was the older size before she got the upgraded body. That was a bit wanky.
The CGI across the board is wonky as fuck. Like
it is and it isn't. Like I think it's passable. I don't hate it. Do you know what I mean? But there is quite a lot of glaringly like, ooh, that's a bit rough.
It's sort of Marvel TV series level.
Yeah.
CGI. It's like we've got some money. We'll make it as good as we can. Oh, that'll do.
I just think considering like Blumhouse had thrown all their eggs in one basket with this movie, I just expected that to be a lot better. Because I know how much they did pump into this to try and make it such a successful franchise for them, especially being an independent franchise for Blumhouse.
Yeah.
So I was a bit like taken aback by the lack of care gone into certain scenes.
Yeah, and the thing is, this has bombed so hard that Jason Blum issued a statement going, "We thought we could do anything with her because we thought she was Superman. We can't. We'll go back and we'll listen to what you've told us for the last 3 years."
I think the thing is, the problem with that statement, man, is the damage is already done now.
Yeah.
I think the problem with stuff like inconsistencies in franchises is it's hard to recover from it, you know? And I don't feel like this, like had this movie had like 2 or 3 solid installments and then they'd wavered and said, yeah, we fucked up. We've done a Jason Newblood and we're going to come back and go back to the roots, you know, it would have made more sense. But the second movie in, they're just not going to get the returns if they make a third.
No, my biggest argument with this is they built a fan base in the horror genre. So everyone who loves M3GAN loved it because it was a horror movie. They're horror fans who went to see an AI gone wrong. And as much as they wanted to make this their T2, M3GAN and Terminator are not even in the same fucking playing field of quality.
I think M3GAN would absolutely smash Arnie, to be honest with you.
Get out.
I do. Really? I seriously do. I think M3GAN is a more impactful robot in terms of capabilities and strength and all the rest of it. I think we're all just a bit shadowed by the fact that she's cloaked as a little girl. But yeah, I think definitely in terms of superiority, she's like the T3 Terminator 3 robot.
Do you know that was one of my biggest bugbears with the Amelia? Like Amelia is the girl from T3. She is that robot, even to the point where like her hand detaches and then a spike comes out. There's loads of little nods to Terminator throughout, and some of them, like some of them, I appreciate. There's some elements in this that, like the one element that got me is when they steal the car. And as they get in the car, the Knight Rider theme hit. I'm
that was so fucking cool, man.
I'm like, oh man, I need a reboot of Knight Rider. Like Knight Rider was my jam when I was a kid. And like hearing that, I'm like, and then this car just like, I was like, fuck yes, this is what I need. What I didn't need was M3GAN going in, like, so Amelia is out on the loose. They get the visit from the FBI guys, like, look, this evil robot's coming to kill you, so you can come work for us and build us a robot, or you're on your own. And Gemma's like, well, fuck you guys, I'll be on my own. And this is where M3GAN uses all of the like home devices to take out the people who come to get her.
Yeah.
And in doing this, convinces Gemma to give her a body so she can protect her. The body they chose is a crime. Like, what the fuck
C-3PO body?
It's an Asimo robot. You can actually buy that.
Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah, before you get the actual upgrade, yeah. Before we get too far into that, I do want to circle back onto the FBI agents, because they were my biggest issue with the movie. The FBI agents are tonally just fucking off, man. They're like a parody of the police. And I feel like it felt so weird, man. Do you know, like, there's a lot of stuff in this movie that is tonally wonky, and the FBI are the biggest culprits for it, just at how shambolic they are, especially the guy with the mustache, the main guy. He's just pathetic to the point where he's kind of parodying himself. And Gemma's love interest, who turns out to be the Bond villain at the end, like, he was very obviously the guy from the beginning. I thought that was just the biggest giveaway. And I think the way they played them so spoof-like and comedic kind of ruined the tone of the film, and I think that's maybe where a lot of the hatred comes from. I know the direction overall was misguided amongst diehard fans, the 5 of the diehard M3GAN fans that are actually out there.
No, just directing in general, like the quick flash cuts from one thing to another, then using soft fade in and fade outs. Honestly, it looked like a student directorial project. There's not a single shot in this, bar the fight scenes, that
the fight scenes are fantastic. The choreography is amazing in the fight scenes. And I like, there was that one where Amelia's fighting and she like kicks, but then the camera tilts with her foot. Do you know, like when people do those reels where they're like that, but then the camera's moving stationary with the head, like a foot kicks and the camera goes and then back up. I was like, oh, that looked fucking awesome. Had I seen that in like a Bruce Lee movie, I would have been amazed.
The same as when M3GAN's fighting Amelia and M3GAN does the splits and slides underneath the table. I'm like, that is slick.
That's cool.
Fuck. Like that. All the fight scenes are great, and I've got nothing against the action segments of this if they stuck them in an action movie.
But this is an action movie.
Not according to Blumhouse. This is a sci-fi horror, and there's not a single bit in this that is horror. There's a couple of bits where they try and stick like a horror tone over it, and like Amelia will appear behind someone. They almost tried to use some of that horror elements, but none of it fit the rest of the movie. It just felt so out of whack when they went from big kick-ass fight scene to leery robots standing in the shadows. I'm like, oh, this just doesn't work.
No, and the thing is, it could have worked. Do you know what I mean? I have no issue with the direction they've chosen to take this film. It's just those certain elements, such as the wonky FBI agents, the clear giveaway that Gemma's love interest was the Bond villain at the end. I have no problem with utilizing those sort of story cues. It's just a tonal misplacement collectively together makes this movie feel like an Austin Powers movie instead of an actual serious movie.
Yeah, see, for me, I likened this to... Oh, what's it called? What's the one that's got Eggsy and Colin Firth where they're the secret agents?
The Gentleman or something like
that movie. I liken this to the sequel of that's like way over the top, and they've got robotic dogs and they've got like Samuel L. Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson's the villain. He's like this really ridiculously overblown.
Oh yeah, I have. Yeah, and he's got like a cave layer and shit like that. And
yeah, like I put M3GAN 2 in that category. It's just they've gone, let's throw as much shit at the wall as we can and hope something sticks, because it goes all over the show.
Like, it really does.
Yeah, like you've got the joke of her being in the little Asimo doll, which was funny for a second, but they fucked it because they showed it in the trailer. Like, if I hadn't seen that in the trailer, I probably would have found that funny, but I knew it was coming. And you've got lots of little gags in there that I thought were amusing. But again, most of those gags were shown in the trailer, where she goes up to one of the guys like, do you remember that time I tried to strangle you and kill you in the lab? Like, I'm not going to do that again. I just want you to know that I'm here for you, and touches his hand. Like, that was funny.
But again, even though that it was funny, like the whole point of that and the whole setup of that particular scene is that M3GAN's trying to fucking shaft Gemma. Like, all of her team are pissed off that she's taken this forefront of being the savior of AI and left the team behind in the shadows.
Yeah.
And when that incident broke, he was never mentioned as being a survivor of the situation. It was all about Gemma, and she was trying to make it like get him on her side, and it was a really cool subplot. But nothing comes of it. Nothing comes of it in the movie. It never gets to a point where he's in a position where he has to pick M3GAN or Gemma, you know.
No.
Or Gemma rectifies her mistakes and apologizes to the team for being so self-centered throughout this sort of blast she's had into the media spotlight, you know. And it was like, you had it. You had all these nuggets of cool storytelling elements there, and you didn't take it.
The one that got me was the overtly in your face jab at Elon Musk with the guy with the neuro chip. Like, I laughed. Like, I thought that was funny. Yeah, like that was a funny idea, but they made him such a caricature. Like, just make him a mental billionaire. Don't make him this, like, it almost reminded me like his performance is like a Tim Curry, like massively over the top, big booming voice, like up from his chair, my Neuralink works, look, I can walk. Like,
but he's known for being that kind of actor, and that's why they shouldn't have cast him in that role, you know. He is loud, he is over the top. It's a dude from Flight of the Conchords.
Yeah.
I know him most as Timatoa from Moana. But he's great, and I really like him a lot. But again, like, he's a comedy actor.
Yeah.
And they've put him in this movie. Had they, again, that's just the same thing as the FBI. Had he been a straight-laced character, it would have worked a lot better with the tone of the movie, and I would have taken things a lot more seriously. But like the whole idea of him having that spinning chair while he's trying to fucking seduce Amelia and stuff, I was so tuned out by it, man. I was like, this just doesn't sit right, you know. It doesn't feel authentic. Everything feels like it's just trying to reach. I know you were saying about like TikTok moments and things like that. I don't even feel like it was that. It was kind of going for that sort of Anchorman level gag of the minute. Everyone's going to be walking out the cinema, reiterating these certain catchphrases and stuff. And it's like, this franchise doesn't need to be that at all.
No, it doesn't. And the thing is, there are some really cool scenes in here. Like, I love the where M3GAN races back to save Katie when the people are coming, like that in the car, that where she's driving that car, fucking brilliant. Like, because that's a real car driving around the streets at real speeds with smokes. Like, it's almost like Fast and the Furious, that scene in particular. And I like that. I think it works. But when you then couple that with the rest of the bullshit that went with it, and how the fuck did M3GAN build a secret base under the house that Gemma rents?
Well, this is it. I mean, the thing is, like, I like the idea of it because M3GAN's obviously orchestrated this whole entire operation since they left the first house. You know, she's been controlling Gemma's life. There was a comment from the FBI when they first interrogated her, and it's like, oh, why is there like 60,000 copies of your book randomly sailing around on a barge boat in the middle of the ocean? It's because Megan's credit card fraud has bought all the books, just put them on storage on a boat. All of that shit you can do. You don't need manpower to do it. You can just do it by typing shit on the internet. And I like the idea of that. I thought it was a really clever way to implement the situation Gemma and Katie are now in, which is all being orchestrated by Megan from the start. But they took it too far. Like, what the fuck is that Batcave?
And the fact at one point one of them goes, "Let's go back to the lair." Like, what the fuck? Shut up.
Yeah.
Like,
I do like the way that Gabriel or Cristiano or whoever the fucking Bond villain is, he's like, did you guys just say lair?
Yeah.
Like, even he was just like, seriously, what the fuck?
Yeah, and like the line about the credit card fraud made me laugh when Gemma questions Megan. She's like, "How did you do all of that?" She's like, "I don't really think we should explain the finer points of credit card fraud to Katie at this moment in time, but like, if you want to, I can." Like, that was funny. Like,
and that's one thing I will say is I do think, regardless of the surrounding shit, Megan as a character, I still feel is as iconic as she was in the first movie. I feel like not much has changed regarding the writing around her as an actual character. I still feel like she's very faithful to her personality from the first film, albeit slightly evolved, which of course you would be. I do feel like she is a faithful adaptation, and I just think, like, had you taken her character out, implemented it to a same story, but just played it more straight-laced, this would have been a more impactful sequel and probably be well appreciated by fans. I like the through line of showcasing Megan growing as a character as well. Like, the stuff, one of the best parts about this movie was when she has that conversation with Gemma, and she basically is like a teenager. She's like, I'm not apologizing for anything anymore. You created me. I behaved under your orders, and I'm older now, and I'm wiser now, and I look back on those moments, and I'm not apologizing for your mistakes. And I was like, that's really fucking cool, man. That's a really impactful line in a movie.
The thing is, there's lots they do in this with AI, about AI learning, and like, Megan's now had 2 years since the first movie where she's done nothing but absorb information, and she's changed, and that's really clever. And then they talk about, so the whole premise of the movie, there's a super AI that was created in the 80s and it got out of control, so they locked it away, and it's just been locked away, just learning and
Absorbing.
seething, just being pissed off for like 40 years. And like, Megan explains, like, I've learned for 2 years, look how far I've come and look how much I've changed. Now put me away for 30 plus years, give me no outside contact, I'm going to be bitter, I'm going to be angry, and as soon as I'm released, I'm going to infiltrate every single system and shut it down. I'm going to kill all of you. And they use the paperclip analogy, which is a really good AI. Yeah, so like, if AIs were tasked with just making as many paperclips and not given any restrictions, they'd be like, oh, well, traffic causes problems for us shipping the paperclips, let's shut all the roads down. Oh, humans aren't buying enough paperclips because they're buying staples, let's go and firebomb staple factories. Like, with no restrictions, AI will just follow its one specific task, which is exactly what it does. And I think it's really clever that they put that in, but then they surround it, like, there's so much going on and so many like unfinished subplots, like the Gemma and her love interest. Like, they're never really fleshed out as a love interest. You know it's there, but it's not done properly. And like, a couple of throwaway lines from Megan, like, oh, he's not even your type. She's like, what do you mean? She's like, I've seen your internet history. She's like, we need to stop talking. Like, it's not fleshed out properly. So all of the good work they've done is lost in this mountain of one-liners and quick gags that they're going for quick reward, instead of telling that they had the chance to tell a really good like AI narrative, and they had all the bones there, but just ignored it.
I don't even think it's a case of ignoring it. I just think they marketed this movie towards teenagers, you know? And I think that's the mistake they've made. They haven't orchestrated it towards genuine horror fans who give them the glorification that they received for the first movie. Granted, there was kids coming out celebrating the first M3GAN movie because they could buy tickets to go and see the uncut version. But it was true horror fans who was like, actually, guys, we all need to take a step back and appreciate this movie for what it is. I know everyone's been snubbing it during its marketing campaign, but it's actually quite good. And then the sequel was announced, and all of us guys doing these podcasts and everything else who snubbed it immediately the first off turned around and was like, pay attention, this is going to be good, this is going to be great, it's going to go in this certain direction. But they didn't. They marketed it towards young teenagers who aren't going to be giving it the reception it deserves when they walk out of the cinema. They're just going to be there talking about it in KFC with their mates afterwards. And I just think it's misguided. And I think a lot of production companies are doing that at the moment. They're not thinking about genuine horror fans. I think the only one that really does deserve the celebration for that kind of thing is A24 and possibly Neon, even though Neon makes a few wonky mistakes along the way.
Yeah, and I'd agree with that. And I think that had they marketed this differently, it would have had a different reception. And for anyone who's got kids, like, this is so unscary that I would quite happily sit my 6 and 8-year-old down and let them watch this. This is no more terrifying or like fear-inducing than a Marvel movie. Like, this sits in the same category as like Spider-Man or Doctor Strange. That's what they've gone for. They've tried to make their own Marvel movie. Is that's what I get the feeling like.
No, I know what you mean. I don't think they've tried to do that though. I don't think they've tried to hone in on the superhero invasion. I just think they just got it completely fucking wrong. I don't even think they intended it to go down this route.
What the fuck is that Iron Man like laser glass suit shit in that expo? You can't tell me that that's not directly ripped from the Stark Expo in like Iron Man 2. Like, that whole setup of like all the dancing and like Amelia walking the crowd, like, that was just ridiculous. Like, that costume she was wearing and the dancing
I hated those costumes that they stayed for so long after that scene. Like, M3GAN wore that costume right through, and I was like, you look like fucking something from Spy Kids.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's Spy Kids. And Amelia looks great. Like, that AI robot is got the potential to be genuinely terrifying. Looks great, vicious, remorseless. And like, when they first take her down and like zap her, because Katie tries to pair with her to like get her on their side, and they take her down. And when she comes to, she's got like full autonomy. She's like, yeah, I'm gonna do what I want to do, and fuck all of you. You're all gonna die. Like, that scene was great. Like, that fight scene where there's like 50 of them. I really enjoyed watching her kick the shit out of people.
Yeah. But it's a disappointing reveal that she's just a fucking puppet and isn't actually an AI machine anyway.
Yeah, that was disappointing, but not as disappointing as when M3GAN and Gemma fucking become one conscious. Like, that was just.
See, I like the concept of this, though. I really like the idea of it. I like the idea that M3GAN is an intelligent enough being that she has backups. Why would she not? Why would she not, in the event of this situation? Why would she not implant her consciousness into multiple... It's Chucky. It's Chucky fucking season 3. You know, why would you not do that? Why would you not have a backup clause, you know, after the events of the first movie? So I like this in concept. In execution, it's fucking dreadful, man. I do like it when Gemma gets knocked out and she's still fighting because of the robo suit, but she's like knocked out and she's kicking all these guys' asses and that. I was like, that's cool.
See, that I had real appreciation for, because whatever stunt person done that to perform the moves they did, looking at the floor, must have taken so long to get that right.
Yeah,
it's really precise. There's kicks, there's flips, there's fucking, she throws someone one way, does the split, sweeps someone else, stands up and kicks someone in the chin. All the time her head's like this. Like, that took real skill. But the bit where they first do that change, as she's laying there and she's all chained up, and Gemma tries to get out, and she's like, M3GAN's like in her head going, they're going to sedate you now. So do you want me to take the wheel, or do you want to do this? It's like, you do it. And then like, as soon as M3GAN takes over, she's like, pick the lock, kick the guy, undone the other lock, done a front flip, kick the guy again, beat him down, and was out. And like, the bit where they start fighting, like, the bit that did make me chuckle is where they took out that Gemma took the first group of people out, and she's got
and
the
he's
helmet.
viciously beating that last guy. And Megan's like, I know you're getting the first for this, but you might want to conserve some of that energy. And the door's open. He's just like 50 of them charged through. And that's when she gets knocked out. I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, that scene there reminded me of which Blade movie is it where he goes into the place that's got like the glass floor, and there's about he falls off and he lands in the big vat of blood, and he gets up and there's about 100 people there and he takes them all out. It reminded me of that.
Oh, that's Blade Trinity. Do you know what? I watched Blade Trinity the other week, and it's really funny. Just a little random bit for you guys. If you watch rewatch Blade Trinity, there's that scene that we're talking about where he falls into the vat of blood and gets out, and there's all like the SWAT soldiers around the balcony. Whistler comes out and he throws him his sunglasses. And he throws the sunglasses, and as Blade's putting them on, the camera like shifts and change, and you can see Whistler in the background like throwing them again, like it's a proper editing guff, and he's already putting them on, but like because of the oh mate, it's funny. When I watched it, I was like, oh my god, how has that not been noticed? It's no wonder people hate Blade Trinity.
There's things about Blade Trinity I like. I think the concept of like Whistler's daughter and then having like them carrying on after Blade is gone, I thought that was cool.
Oh
but
man,
yeah,
when was the last time you watched it? It is fucking dire.
It's been a while. I've got it behind me. It's one of the movies that I'm going to be reviewing on YouTube very shortly because I want to watch it again. I've done Blade 1 and Blade 2. I want to watch Trinity again.
Yeah, they've all just come on Netflix. I like watched them a couple of weeks ago, man. 1 and 2 are fantastic, especially 2. Guillermo del Toro does a fantastic job with 2.
With Nomak. Nomak's awesome.
Nomak. He's such a fucking cool guy, man. And those first 2 are brilliant, but Blade Trinity, dude, honestly, oh my god, it's bad. It's really, really bad, especially when you watch the first 2 and realize how straight-laced they are and how really sort of cool and gritty movies they are. And then you go into 3. Parker Posey in that film is just fucking dreadful as well.
Yeah, the thing is, though, Blade Trinity is forgiven because it had 2 solid movies first, whereas Megan's gone, we've got one movie that's almost there. Like, we've got the bones to build on it. And then instead of building on the bones they had, they went, fuck it. James, do you want to make an action movie? And James was like, fuck, that's a great idea, Jason. Let's do that. Like, at what point did no one in that production room go, I don't want to be that guy, but you know that Megan's like a horror and everyone who likes it are horror fans. And if you take it action, it's going to get fucking destroyed when you release it.
But the thing is, like, they've had a giddy idea, which would really, really work. Like, for me, when I first heard the announcement, they're doing a T2. They're going to make Megan the good guy in this one. I'm like, yeah, that works for me. And it was just one simple idea in one simple board meeting. And they've just fucking rolled with it like teenage boys thinking, yeah, Terminator 2 was fucking awesome. We can have that level of impact. You can't. T2 is a one and done situation. Nobody can replicate T2 the same way because nobody knew T2 was going to happen the way it did. Even the marketing campaign for it, nobody knew T2 was going to work out the way it did.
The training montage where she's attacking the Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee, like, training thing. She's like, this like snap, 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 and then she does this like almost like Matrix style, like wah, and then I'm like, and there's loads of that. Like every time she fight, like there's a bit where Amelia knocks her down and she does like a backflip and slides back really cool, and then she almost does like the Neo bit where it's like arms everywhere, it's like arms out, it almost goes like that to give some more. And I'm like,
I was waiting for it. I was literally waiting for that bit, and it didn't do it. I was like, all the fucking cheesy bullshit you've done throughout this movie, and you didn't go for that one little move.
And honestly, I thought they were gonna. When they didn't, I was like, you've done everything else. Like, why didn't you do that?
So you'd have only complained about it if they did.
I probably would have, but if I'm honest, that would have been the bit that probably would have made me belly laugh because that would have been like, okay, right, you've gone beyond that point. The problem with this is they do so many things that they try to be really funny. and they follow that with something that's really deadpan serious. Like there's a really emotional scene between Katie and Megan, and Megan's like, look, I'm always going to protect you. I'm always going to be here. But like for now, you've got to go because I've got to do this. I've got to sacrifice myself. And it's actually really emotional, but it doesn't fit the fucking 18 lines of comedy she gave before and the fight scene that come after that. It bounces so far all over the place. Like the concept of Megan, like Gemma doesn't trust her and she implants the EMP in her wrist. I thought that was clever.
Yeah.
But it telegraphed, like by telling us that was done so early on, I knew where this was going to end.
Yeah, but the whole movie itself was fucking predictable from the start, in my opinion. There wasn't a single point of me where I was watching this. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe they did that. I was like, okay, I know where I am and I know where I'm going to be in an hour and 30 minutes time.
That's the other thing. This movie is 2 hours long.
Oh, is that how long? I thought it was long. This was one film that I never checked the runtime on. I just kind of was there watching. I thought it was an hour and 90. Maybe that's a good thing. It blew by for me.
Did it? Like there was so many points.
It did.
There were so many points. So I'm like, oh, get out of this little dwelling. Like, get out of this little fallout shelter you've built. Go and do something. But they spend like 20 minutes in there training Megan, rebuilding Megan.
Did you see the C3PO cameo thing when they were rebuilding her?
Yeah.
The exoskeleton, and it was all gold like C3PO. I was like, say a C3PO line. Do it. Just do it. You've done everything else. Just do it.
I quite liked that when you first see Megan before she's rebuilt and she's like this robot on tracks that's got 3 arms. Like that I thought was really good because she's obviously rebuilt herself. But I instantly had questions. She was in the internet. So how did she get the first bits together? Like,
well, it's simple. She controls the internet. You order a fucking Furby with arms off Amazon delivered to your door. You can soon process yourself onto the chip, and then you're a little Furby, and then you gather other little parts and build this monstrosity, and there you go. You transfer her over. That's the thing. Like, I like the transferring of her consciousness into various things throughout, barring when she does it with Gemma. But the ending completely undercuts the sacrifice made at this movie. Like when she comes back as a paperclip. Like, it was cool that they came back as a paperclip, but then it should have stayed as a paperclip. Instead, it became like one of those Instagram. What are those things where you're like, avatars that people can have? Yeah. And it's like a Megan avatar on the corner of the screen, and it's like, this feels like something out of like fucking, what's that program where Clarice, is it? The one with the girl from Sabrina. But before she was Sabrina, she was something else. She was like...
oh, yeah. I can't remember what it's called, but I know what you're on about. Yeah.
Yeah. The fucking Sweet Life of Clarice or something stupid like that. I don't know. People are going to come at me as well, because I know that is like an iconic like kids TV show that people loved growing up. But it was something really cheesy, boring like that.
Yeah, she sort of pops, goes, you didn't think I'd go without making copies? I'm like, oh. Like,
but how can you now revert back onto this? How can you, like, Jason Statham, Jason Blumhouse has released this.
Very different people. Very different.
I don't know. They seem to have the same sort of intelligence bracket when it comes to making movies. When he's made this statement saying like, right, we're going to return back to the horror. How do you go back from this? You can't do it now. You
do a remake. Like, that's the only option you've got.
But that's it. That is the only option. But like, you can't remake a franchise within 5 years of the franchise being established.
No, it's just a bizarre choice. I think like everything they'd done just didn't make. My problem lied with like, if I watched this as a pure action movie, as a standalone without Megan existing, I think I'd be on board. But I didn't. I watched this as a sequel to Megan, and because of that, everything they'd done, Like, I spent so long eye rolling, like, oh, you're doing that because you want to, you're doing this because you want everyone to mimic it on TikTok. Oh, you're doing this gag because you think everyone's going to talk about, oh, you're fucking promoting Asimos. Oh, you're taking the piss out of Elon Musk because you're expecting the younger generation who quite openly hate him to go, oh, look, they're mocking Elon Musk. We love this movie. Like, everything was so contrived and so like deliberate to try and garner clicks and to try and target a very specific demographic that it just alienated everyone else. Everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I know this movie is severely littered with problems, but I don't have a hatred for it. Like, I enjoyed the time I spent with it. You know what I mean? It was entertaining, but that's all it was. It was just entertainment, and there was nothing to it. There was no substance to it. I'll never watch it again, and I'll never recommend it to anybody else, but I didn't begrudge the time I spent with it.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what you could do. You could recommend an account for us. Should we end it there?
Yeah, fuck it, man.
Okay, let's give you. I've got a really cool soundbite for you this week because I think we needed something cool on this episode.
Keep it going, man. Keep it going. I don't know what my recommended account of the week.
Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
I was ready ages ago. I just wanted to listen to Knight Rider again. Right, so I haven't done a review count in quite a while, and this one recently followed me on my VHS page. I was like, I'll check it out. And I thought you guys might like it too. This is called Talk to Me About Movies. Great account. They watch not just horror, surprisingly enough. I don't tend to follow accounts that do reviews that aren't really horror based because I feel like obviously their content isn't really relevant to me. But this guy had enough horror-based stuff within it. I would say like his opinions on horror or her opinions on horror are more driven towards the horror sci-fi stuff.
Yeah.
But they don't just limit themselves like we do. We're not like, hey, we're an elite horror fan and we don't watch anything else.
Well, that's a lie because we've reviewed action movies for an entire fucking month.
Well, hey, you know my stance on this month.
Do you know, I was like, fuck you for the first 2 episodes, and now we're on episode 3 of this month. I'm like, fucking, when are we going to do a horror movie again? Like, when are we going back to something that's dark and miserable?
You might regret saying that next month. But yeah, he's got some really insightful thoughts on movies. And again, it's just a horror. It's not a horror. It's a movie review account. These accounts are great for everything, not purely just because they showcase movies that pop up that you may or may not have seen, but they also tell you whether it's worth watching or not. So Talk to Me About Movies is an account that's worth popping up on your newsfeed. Go check them out over on Instagram.
Hi guys, new look, new format adverts moving forward, and this is the first one of those. I want to talk to you about 2 shows in the You Run podcast network. First of all, I want to talk about Podcast in the Woods. This is a horror movie review show hosted by Gabby and Boomer, who are a married couple. This gives a whole new dynamic to how movies are reviewed because it's not 2 people who podcast together. This is a family. So you know when they disagree on a movie, that shit carries out into the world afterwards. They are highly entertaining, very, very funny, and both have very cool, very deep cut takes on some of the best horror movies around. So they are one that I want you to go and check out at yourunpodcast.com. Also, I want you to check out the Dewey Pod Monster podcast. This is a podcast all about consumption. It's hosted by John and Sean, and they cover everything from movies to TV series to pretty much anything that pops in their head. And this show is very entertaining because they also dive into a lot of movies that you may not get on other shows. A lot of the B-movie stuff that just doesn't get showcased. So go and check out Dewey Pod Monster as well. Both of those shows are at yourunpodcast.com and available on all podcast platforms everywhere. Anyway, back to the show. Thanks, Scott. Make sure you make sure you check out Marc's recommended account of the week. Like, it helps them, it helps us, it gives you a cool account to follow. Like, everybody wins. Just go and do it. Also, head over to yourunpodcast.com where you can go and follow and listen to the shows that you've just heard of. Also, the other shows, the You Run Podcast Network, and have links to all of our shows, all of our merch, links to our socials. If you want to follow us to get the most out of our socials, it's Instagram at You Run Podcast. While you're there, make sure you give Mark a follow. He is Reviews from the Crypt, where even the worst movies he's reviewed are nowhere near as bad as the garbage we've reviewed this week on the show. Or VHS from the Crypt, where his entire collection is better than the entirety of the Blumhouse franchise. Like, the entire Blumhouse movie collection is not featured in Mark's collection.
Oh, no. Oh, I do have like a few Blumhouse movies in here, though.
Yeah.
But they're only Halloween movies.
Exactly. And they were never made on VHS. You had them made.
I did have them made. Yeah, I did have the VHS made, but which is really fucking cool that I could do that. Yeah, I love technology these days.
Yeah, it's great. If you're not on Instagram, you can follow us everywhere else. We're at You Run Podcast. We post different content on every single platform. So whether you follow us on X or Blue Sky or YouTube or TikTok, wherever you follow us, you're getting something different for the most part. So
is Blue Sky still a thing?
Yeah, it's still a thing. It's weird. We get the occasional comment on Blue Sky. So if you're on Blue Sky, give us a follow. X, we seem to be picking up some momentum at the moment, which is weird because X is like you post something and then people like talk to you and you actually have to have a conversation, where Instagram's just, oh, I like that. So I find myself talking to lots of people, which is bizarre. If you like exclusive content, head over to our YouTube at You Run Podcast. There's loads of exclusive reviews on there that you don't get here. And if you want super exclusive stuff, go and visit us at patreon.com/You Run Podcast, where you get to choose from a selection of tiers, which give you everything from early access ad-free episodes, so you don't need to listen to this part of the show, all the way up to pretty much full control over the show. And I'm not joking when I say that. September, every single movie in the polls has been picked by our top tier Patreon members. So they've literally just gone, no, you two pick shit movies, we're going to pick them for you. If you can't,
they must have been referring to you when they made that comment.
I think it's very much aimed at me after this month. It's like, you don't know what you're doing.
You've been blacklisted.
Yeah, I'm taking full control. We're pretty sure you can afford to support us because it costs you about 6p a day for the lowest tier. But if you don't want to, because you don't love me and Mark and you just don't want to support us, that's fine. We're happy with that. You can support us in the free ways. You can tell a friend about the show, share it on your social media, leave us a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify, comment on YouTube or Spotify. Join our Patreon as a free member. So you can do that, and we're going to throw out some stuff to the free members just to show you what you're missing out on. At the moment, there's an episode on there that says the end of true crime ? So yeah, you can check that out for free. Now, with all of that out of the way, let's dive into some facts. We mentioned it in the review. M3GAN is taller in this. She has a new body which is taller, and that's because the 15-year-old who plays her, which is Amy Donald, had a growth spurt. So when they started filming this, they had no intention of making M3GAN bigger. When they got to filming, Amy Donald turned up and they went, fuck, you're about 1.5 foot bigger than you were. So this is what gets me. The director felt, in his word, he had an obligation to live up to fans' expectations and the expectations of Universal and Blumhouse, because she was so loved by everyone. And he decided he wanted to make a movie that was a deserved sequel, not just for the character, but for the world, and wanted it to be something that was completely unique, that sits inside horror, action, and sci-fi, and was completely bonkers.
Unique. This is not the most unoriginal thing I've ever seen in my life.
When I read his statement, I'm like, you failed. Like, on every single thing you wanted to do, you completely failed, to the point that Jason Blum went, yeah, we're really sorry, we fucked this one up. Like, Jason Blum has put out some shit, like The Exorcist Believer in a Blumhouse movie, and he didn't apologize.
He didn't apologize for fucking Halloween Ends, which he should have done.
But he apologized for M3GAN 2.0, which is bizarre. when M3GAN is being fitted with her new hand, the panel that opens on her arm, this is where Gemma's fiddling about in her wrist. It is identical to the panel that's in Luke Skywalker's newly fitted arm in Star Wars Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back. It's identical.
Yeah, I'm not a big Star Wars guy. I picked up on the C-3PO one, but I imagine there's a lot more littered out throughout this movie than what I noticed.
Yeah, there's quite a few. And I'll be honest, that's all the facts I could be bothered to find, because after I watched this movie, I had no interest in digging deeper. We have some voicemails. I'm going to start off with an apology. We got this voicemail about 2 months ago, and I completely missed it. So I'm going to start with that one. This comes from Newman at Movies for Days.
Hey, Scott. Hey, Mark. Newman the Film Rat here from the Movies for Days podcast. Ahoy, mateys! Avast me hearties! See, I'm using nautical speak there because I'm calling in response to your recent episode on Jaws 2. In that episode, you mentioned that it seemed like there was some sort of a setup for Brody's wife to have an affair and cheat on him, but they didn't really do anything with it, and that made you go, what's up with that? Well, when you mentioned that, it made me go, hang on a minute, and I remembered that in the book by Peter Benchley, which was the basis for the original film, Brody's wife does in fact have an affair with Hooper. Hooper also fucking dies at sea because the shark cage trick doesn't work so well, and Quint is not eaten by the shark, but he stabs the shark with a harpoon like 80 times, then gets caught up in a rope and drowns, and that's what kills the shark. Brody is like convinced the shark's about to get him, but he finally succumbs to his wounds down to the bottom of the sea, never to be seen again, and Brody, the only survivor, has to swim back to shore. And the story goes, when Spielberg was making the movie, he realized in the midst of production, this ending sucks. And he contacted Peter Benchley and he said, listen, the ending in this book might work fine for a book, but this is going to suck for a movie. Here's what I want to do. And he explained what he wanted to do with the exploding tank. And Peter Benchley trashed this idea. He said, that's horrible. You don't know a goddamn thing about oceans or sharks, marine life. A shark would never do that. This makes no sense whatsoever. To which Spielberg basically replied, listen, asshole, they've been on this boat with me in the middle of the ocean for the last hour or whatever. They will accept whatever I give them. The ending needs to be kaboom. And it was. And I think we can all agree it was the right move. So That's what I got for you. Also, Scott, I haven't forgotten about your horrendous take on the alternate ending for 7. I am coming for you, motherfucker. I just don't have time to do both in one, call in. So, pucker that butthole of yours, because I'm coming.
Oh, run! Run! I'm coming for you!
Awesome. Now, yes, I didn't know that when we did Jaws 2. But Jim's Retro Emporium did send me this copy of Jaws by Peter Benchley, which I have started reading, and I have got to the affair section, and it blew my fucking mind. Like, literally blew my fucking mind to the point where I haven't picked it up since.
Yeah, the thing is, it gives Hooper a completely different, Hooper in the movie.
He's a lad.
Yeah, Hooper in the movie, really nerdy guy, never going to get a girl, but he's funny, and he's kind of a crewmate. Hooper in the book, dirty scoundrel, will sleep with anything. Lads.
He's Captain Jack Sparrow in the fucking book, man.
He is. We also got a message from Heather. Pre-warning, this is quite a long message. Heather went on many tangents, so here's Heather.
Hey guys, so I finished the Poltergeist episode. I finished it earlier, but then I got sidetracked because, 2 small children, and I had shit to do today. I had to go to the dentist and get a cleaning and a checkup, and so I had lots of stuff to do, plus get groceries. Anyway, the episode was fun. I love Jay and Jim. I speak to them pretty frequently, probably Jim more so. We share reels and our dark sense of humor. But the episode's fun. I don't really feel like I have to watch the movie. I mean, it's a French horror film, correct?
Yeah.
It's not really my vibe. I don't really like movies that are like I have to read my movie or it's dubbed, it like drives me insane. But anyways, we'll see. But I did listen to it. It was great. Y'all were funny. Funny haha, not funny queer. And, well, Jim and JR. But that's a different story. They know I love them. Anyways, I do overshare. And that's okay, Scott. So mind your business. I don't care. And also, you made a comment about me not being able to come on the podcast. Or, well, Mark actually was like, yeah, Sleepaway Camp 2 would have been perfect for Heather. Yeah, I know that. And just because I have 2 kids doesn't mean I can't do shit. But okay, you're not really wrong because I can't just up in podcast anytime I want. Anyways, yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. The episode was great. I'm proud of Mark still. I'm glad that he loved Sleepaway Camp 2. Seems like you guys really enjoyed this film. It's just not a film I'm going to really watch. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say except for watch Sleepaway Camp 3 and then give me plenty of notice and I will be able to come on the show with you if that one ever gets pulled. And, oh, also, I forgot. So I'm sitting here, like, as I'm listening, I do sometimes watch the video. And I'm looking at Jim, and I'm like, ain't nobody said nothing about Jim and his buff-ass arms hanging out of that shirt. No one mentioned it. So I'm going to mention it, because Jim was looking like the whole snack bar. No one said anything. So, Jim, I love you. I'm so, like, I don't know what's going on with you. I'm so happy for you because it looks like you've been in the gym working on your fitness looking fergalicious. Okay, love you guys. Love you all. Bye.
Do you know what the annoying thing about that is? Is like, I know Jim and I know how fucking happy he is going to be with Heather's statement there, to the point where he will probably clip the audio from that and have it on his ringtone on his phone. He's going to love every single second of that statement.
When Heather said it, I was like, I don't know. So I went and clicked on the episode. I've got to say, Jim's arms were pretty fucking immense. He does look like he's been hitting the gym or hitting the roids, and I'm not sure which.
Either that or hitting the takeaways and just sat in a nice position.
We now have 4 very, very short messages, and then we're going to rock on to do cover notes.
Morning, guys. Mark, I need to apologise because knowing it's horror, but my opinions are quite similar to yours. But I did vote for most of these films purely to piss you off, so I am very, very sorry. Am I kidding?
You don't sound it at all. He does not sound sorry in the slightest.
This was at the start of the Scary Movie episode, and then like we had a couple of messages as he was listening. So this has come a little bit later.
And now I'm even more happy that we did it. You were discovering horror when I was 20 years of age. That's just taking the piss.
Hey, old man, calm down. It's not my fault.
Don't be throwing shade at old people. Dave was throwing shade at me in my DMs the other day, like, how old are you today? 50. I'm like, fuck you, man. I'm 55.
Hey, that's a compliment then, man.
Yeah. This one?
Scott, did you just say the one opinion in cinema I hate the most?
I did.
If you don't like it, you don't get it. But you're right. In this type of movie, absolutely.
Yeah. Scary Movie is probably the one movie you can get away with.
I think that is the one movie you can acceptably say if you don't. What is it?
If you don't like it, you don't get it.
You don't. Yeah. You don't. It's a time capsule of a movie. We went over this on that episode, and it is a time capsule of a movie.
And as a general rule, I hate that statement because it's the statement that I'm going to band a group together here. It's a statement that A24 fans will give you if you go, I don't like this, it's pretentious. They go, oh, you just don't understand it. If I fucking infuriates me, I hate it.
The thing with that statement that annoys me the most is because people who say it don't have the intelligence to explain why the movie should be appreciated. And instead, they just attack a personal statement and be like, well, if you don't get it, you know? And it's like, No, that's not right. Explain to me what I'm missing. It's because you don't have the intelligence to explain to me what it is that I'm not getting, because you don't understand it either. Therefore, you're just appreciating it because you feel like you're part of some group who should appreciate it. And that's the problem with that statement.
I agree.
Oh, I forgot about Shriek. But that is funnier than all the scary movies combined. It's a much better film, in my opinion.
Oh, Shriek, yes. I did a post actually on my Instagram page for people who didn't know I was referring to. That movie is really, really fucking funny. It's not as good as Scary Movie, but again, it's a funny movie for the moments that are there.
And I've downloaded a copy of it now because I don't think I've seen it, so I'll be watching it in the next week or two, and I'll update you.
I don't think you'll like it. I don't think you'll like it at all. I'll be honest with you. And it's, again, if you don't like it, you don't get it, man. It's one of those you had to be there moments. And I think now, I watched it recently. It's Scary Movie, but very fucking like over the top. Like the spoof humor is more amplified. It's very slapstick. It's very sort of Bottom-esque kind of. Bottom is a British TV show for those of you who are listening outside of the UK. It's very, very, yeah. Well, you might like it then. You might like it. It's very childish, mate, in terms of rewatching it now in today's sort of time period. It doesn't hold up.
I think the best Bottom I ever saw is Bottom Live, where they're on the desert island and there's treasure hidden and he's not meant to find it to the end. And like midway through the show, he finds the treasure and goes, oh, what's this? And the other goes, it's nothing. He goes, you're right, it's nothing because we're not meant to find it for another hour. And then closes the fucking rock that he's opened. So funny. So
I like
funny.
the Gas Man is always the funniest episode for me and will always be the funniest episode for me. But I did like Guest House Paradiso, the movie. I feel like we could, given the shit we've done this month, I think we could probably wangle Guest House Paradiso onto the show. It's more like it's very much a Psycho level sort of spoof movie.
It's more horror than M3GAN 2.0 by miles.
It is. I think, given the opportunity where I get a wild card and I feel it fits the tone of the month, I'm going to throw it in there just for laughs.
I'm happy with that. Cover Notes is back this week. This is where we get you to replace the terrible cover note that Blumhouse put on this, which was simply "Miss Me." And when I saw it, I was like, oh. Like you could have done like so many options, but "Miss Me." Like what the fuck, lazy ass.
Even that poster shit.
The poster is shit. Movies for days. Newman, you heard from him a minute ago. He went with "The Robo Bitch Is Back." That works for me. Pop Culture Reflections. This is Justin from the Pop Culture Reflections podcast. Went with "Chucky Who?" ? That works.
Ooh, I don't know if it does.
This Girl Loves Horror. No one missed me, but I'm back anyway.
See, that's the thing. Everybody did miss her, but now they're all wishing they didn't.
Which your former arch nemesis, now probably friend, randomly Eric, went with "The system has been upgraded to 2.0.
I don't know. I get the bants, I get the joke, but I'm not here to approve of it because I thought it was all right.
This is so action. We had an action movie podcast. Give me back my action movies commented. Same console, new update.
That one I can take.
Yeah. The Hashling Slasher. It's the absolute mess you think it is. That works as a.
That definitely works.
And my personal favourite, Mike the Movie Misfit. From the studio that brought you Halloween Ends, Exorcist Believer, Night Swim. Wait, never mind. Just read a book or something.
Yeah, okay, that one's the winner of the night. I like that one.
I thought it was great. Now we're going to do the thing that I teased at the beginning, which is Blumhouse ruined it.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
So I have selected a selection of movies for Blumhouse to either reboot or to sequel. And then we're going to discuss how they would particularly ruin that movie, what things they would do that would ruin it. And we're going to start with a reboot of Nightmare on Elm Street, one that Jason Blum has coveted and is still adamant he's going to get hold of. How would he ruin that?
Oh, fucking hell, man. very, very easily, I think, based on this movie's.
Do you think he'd go full action with it?
I don't think he'd go full action with it. No, I think the problem with it is I think they would lean too heavily into the comedy of it.
He'd go,
you know, like I think the thing is with the Nightmare franchise is people love Nightmare on Elm Street, the original, and the concept of Freddy Krueger, and because they enjoy it and love that idea so much, they just taken the shit that franchise has thrown at them along the way. And I get it. Yeah. I'm a Halloween fan. I nobody gets it more than I do, you know. But like for me, I feel like Blumhouse going into a Nightmare on Elm Street, they wouldn't take the first two, maybe three movies and go with that straight-laced horror tone. I think they would lean more heavily into the back half of what that franchise gave us.
Yeah, we'd get another Freddy's Dead, is what I think we'd get.
Yeah, I think so. Yes, definitely.
It would be the over-the-top comedy. It would be the incredibly politically correct group of young actors who find everything that Freddy says offensive. It'll be lots of, oh, did he just say that? Oh, now he's stabbing me. He's stabbing me. It'd almost be like Scream level, Scary Movie level spoof shit.
You'd get like a Borat level fucking Freddy Krueger.
Yeah. Hello, it's very nice. Freddy Krueger, come for you.
Hi, it's me. I'm in your dreams. Very nice.
You didn't sound like Borat. You sounded like
I did. You know I can't do accents. So let's just move on swiftly.
you sounded like the puppet Ahmed, the dead terrorist. That's what you sounded. I kill you. They get the opportunity to sequel When Evil Lurks.
I hope they get a sequel to that.
I think they're telling a Cujo story with that. He's going to focus on the dog, and he's going to tell a new story all about the dog infecting people. That's where I think he's going with that.
Yeah. No, I don't think they would. I don't think that. That's the thing with Blumhouse. They always have this opinion that bigger is better. And I think they would just try and expand on the world that was established in the first movie. So drip fed to us, making us want a sequel, as I've just said, but they would just go whole hog with the full thing and just give us it all on a plate with no mystery, no fucking suspense or anything to come with it. I think it would be sabotaged by the over explanation of everything that was established in the first movie.
So we'd get the Walking Dead, but When Evil Lurks version.
Yeah, either that or they would go down the sort of Conjuring route, and instead of focusing on the main story, they'd give us some stupid little spin-off prequel episode.
Jump scare factory.
Yeah.
Of the original demon that caused the zombie outbreak.
Yeah, it'd be like The Nun.
We got two more. You said they like to go bigger and better and badder every single time. They get to sequel Return of the Living Dead. How do they go bigger than that?
Do you know what? The thing is, that's probably one franchise that I feel like they would be able to handle quite well.
No.
Because I feel like zombie movies as a whole are a very basic and easy premise, hence the plethora of them that we have throughout horror. I don't feel like it's something that takes a lot of effort to do. And I say that because that's my take on zombie movies. I'm a big zombie fan, but all of them follow a very generic sort of through point. It's a very easy ride for me, which is probably why I enjoy watching them as much as I do, because I know what I'm getting when I'm going into one of them. I'm not expecting anything fucking groundbreaking when I'm watching a zombie movie. And the odd occasion that I do find them, like Night Eats the World, the French one, that was really fucking cool. And there was one that I watched on Shudder not too long ago where it's a woman walking through the desert, just constantly being chased by a singular zombie. But because there's nowhere to go, it's not like a herd was following her. It was just vast wasteland. And it was just a case of that one's never going to stop because it doesn't, because it's dead. And she's a human. And although she might have initial steady pace on it, it's always going to keep coming at a slow pace. And it was a really cool, unique concept. And I was like, oh, that's surprising. We don't get that very often. But whereas with Return of the Living Dead, I feel like it already feels like a M3GAN 2.0 kind of spoofy movie going into it anyway.
They'd definitely PG-13 it.
They probably would PG-13 it. And again,
boobs.
No. And again, that's half the issue with Blumhouse is they don't take themselves too seriously as a horror creator because they want to sell tickets. But this is half my beef with fucking most movies that come out. This is half my issue with fucking Marvel films these days. They're not growing with their audience. You know, people who tuned into the first Iron movie are now in their fucking 40s and 50s, but they're still target audience in kids. And it's like, we've been here for 20 years following you and supporting you on this journey. Stop churning out Power Rangers bullshit and fucking upgrade it to people who are actually paying your ticket funds.
And the one movie they actually done that with was fucking awesome, and that's Thunderbolts. If anyone hasn't seen Thunderbolts and you like Marvel Phase 1 and Phase 2, Thunderbolts fits that. It's very disgruntled, very like personal trauma, dealing with depression and death, why they fight people. Like that is a really good movie. I was really impressed with that.
And I think the success of that movie has kind of switched on a light bulb at Marvel, I think. I'm really excited for the new Fantastic Four movie, actually, that's coming out in a couple of weeks. That looks really, really good.
Yeah, everyone going to drool over Pedro Pascal for forever.
I don't get it. Oh, have you watched The Last of Us Season 2 yet?
Yes, I have.
I haven't got past that. I don't want to dive too much into it because I know the full season's out now and everyone's been bitching online and stuff. I haven't got past that initial second episode. I watched it. I cried. It was awful. I didn't see it coming because I've never played the games. It broke me, man. It broke me, and I haven't returned to episode 3, and that was about a month and a half ago.
They, in my opinion, and I'm not going to give any spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen it. In my opinion, they fucked it so badly that the original writer and creator, who come from Naughty Dog, has now stepped away from to do season 3 because he has. I saw that. He's branded it as he needs to go and work on his other game. In reality, he's gone, you fucked this up, and I don't want to be attached. Yeah, I don't want to be attached for season 3 because this is on a fucking rapid downward slope. So bye.
Yeah. I saw that he jumped ship, man. That's interesting.
Yeah, he did. Which, if you're a fan of the game and you've watched all of season 2, I think you may have the same opinion as me. You got to the end and went, "Oh, you dicks." Like, you absolute dicks.
Does that apply to people who have played the games? Like, I haven't, so for me, I'm just taking it on a TV series basis, and at the moment, I'm enjoying what they're doing. I don't understand the hatred.
Yeah, I think it's very much more the people who played the game have a very strong attachment to the game and to that story, and the changes they make don't sit well. Like, it's very much like, why'd you do that? Like, what they've done in the game was better. Like, the game is one of the biggest games of all time. It won like the equivalent of game Oscars for its story. Why are you fucking with the thing it won all of its awards for? Like, leave it alone. Like, you're
not kidding, man. It gets a fucking remaster on every single console that's come out since its release.
Yeah, and honestly, when I get the next gen PlayStation, like PlayStation 6, like when that comes out and I eventually get it, if they remaster The Last of Us 1 and 2, I will buy it again. Like, I own that game for 2 separate consoles because it's that good. I was going to do one more, but we're on quite a high, and I think if I do the movie I'd picked, it'd put you on a downer. Fuck it, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I wanted to do it. Yeah, I'm going to say, now I'm going to spend the rest of the fucking episode thinking, what was it?
Blumhouse get the opportunity through a weird twist of fate to make a sequel to Halloween Ends.
This is a really, really conflicting topic to talk about because I know we've taken this as a light-hearted game throughout, but now we're on the serious shit. We're talking about Halloween. And I don't know who we blame. And again, I don't know who we blame with M3GAN. Do we blame Blumhouse or do we blame the director and writer of the movie? How much influence does Jason Blum have on these movies in terms of the direction that they take? Because is it Gordon Green's fault for the Halloween fuck up, or is it Blumhouse's? Because the first Halloween movie, the 2018 one, is a fucking 5-star movie all day long.
Yeah, I blame Jason Blum. I think Jason Blum is very hands-on, very much show me what you've got. No, I don't like that. Change this, this, and this. That's the vibe I get from him. He is like Bond villain level control. That's how I see him. I could be wrong, but he's
a Weinstein without the sexual assault.
Yeah, I think that's where he is. And yeah, like you've only got to listen to Gordon Green when he said like how much pressure he was under to get kills out in a certain time frame, and he didn't have time to develop scripts and stuff, and it was very much cobbled together. Like, if I'm honest, I think if they got sequel Halloween Ends, I reckon they'd bring Gordon Green back again. Give me his redemption.
I think they would, and I wouldn't oppose it, to be honest with you, because I feel like, given so much time has passed since Halloween Ends, and again, I don't hate Halloween Ends. I don't hate it. I like Halloween Ends as a movie. I just don't like it as a final chapter to a trilogy that I had been following. I love Halloween. I'm a big Halloween fan, but the Gordon Green trilogy is the only Halloween experience I've had in cinemas. So for me, this timeline was an event for me. It was the new one's coming out. I can't wait to be there on opening night. And I was fully invested in everything it had. I was wonky on kills. I loved a lot of it, but it left a lot of lingering questions. I feel like it's
Evil dies tonight. Evil dies.
It's very much the Terrifier 2 of the Halloween franchise, where it's just there as that bridge piece where it sets a lot of stuff up but doesn't deliver on it.
Yeah.
And it was okay because we knew we were getting the trilogy. We knew we were getting the end one that was going to bring everything full circle. But then when the end one came out, it didn't come full circle on all the stuff that it had established in kills, which was so intriguing. And again, you could blame the pandemic for that, but you can do that with a lot of things. And I don't feel like that's responsible, because just because there's a pandemic, that doesn't stop you writing a script in the comfort of your own home.
It doesn't.
So that's
make
what annoys me. No, exactly. So that just pissed me off, and I was like,
"So what would they do?"
I would like Green to come back, and I would like to redeem it, and I feel like he could do that, and I feel like the story paves way for him to do that.
How do they bring Michael back? Michael went through a wood chipper. How do they do that? I'm thinking M3GAN robot.
No. I don't think they do that. I just think Corey survives, and he's the new Michael. But then they make it a fucking proper brutal movie. They kill Laurie Strode. They kill the entire fucking Strode timeline. And just see him walk off into the forest at the end. That's all it needed to be.
Blumhouse would go the robot Silver Shamrock. It would be like M3GAN. It would be.
Oh yeah, that's what they would do. I'm just telling you what I think it should be.
Oh no! We're talking about how Blumhouse would ruin it. That's what they'd do. Then the government would release another robot that would look like M3GAN, and that robot would take Michael out.
Oh no! It'd be Corey Cunningham taking on Michael's soul, and then he would be captured by the government and then sent out on assassination missions, taking out vital figures in Parliament dressed as Michael Myers.
It would be garbage. I'm going to let you round this one up first. It's your turn this week.
Yeah. Right. So a lot of you have already listened to this episode, of course, because you're at the end of it now. I've been saying how I like this movie, and I do like this movie. I don't think it's the worst thing I've ever seen. And the reason I feel comfortable...
Sorry, I just want to stop you for a second.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God. Stop you fucking lying.
I'm going to take, when we get to roundups, I'm going to I need a kill switch to ban you from doing sound bites in my fucking flow. If I was a freestyle rapper, you wouldn't be able to interrupt my jam. Now I just don't know where I was. Do you know what I mean? I don't know where I was and what I was saying.
You were saying how much you really enjoyed this, and a lot of people are shit on it, and go.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. So I do. The reason why I feel like I can say those statements is because I didn't particularly like the first M3GAN movie. I didn't mind it. I didn't think it was a bad movie, but I didn't understand the glorification that film was getting. I already knew going in that they'd changed the complete direction and tone of the movie, and they were going on the Terminator 2 direction. So when I tuned in, I wasn't shocked by the tonal shift that had happened in this film. Again, we mentioned the acting's not great, which is a disappointment because the character of Gemma, who I mentioned heavily when we reviewed the first M3GAN movie, and I was saying how much of a great actress she is in the film Perfection, and I felt like she was left at the sideline quite a lot in that first film. She's not. She's amplified to the forefront in this film quite a lot. Unfortunately, because she's amplified to the forefront, she's shit because the script around her is terrible. She's given terrible lines. She's given terrible scenes to play out. And it's it's disappointing because I know she's really, really good, and I know she could be really, really good if this story was written correctly. The general direction of the film, I feel like it works. I just don't feel like it was handled correctly in terms of writing. It could have been done a lot better. The tonal shift is very, very wonky. They needed to pick a darker, more serious tone with it, and I feel like the story that they went with would have worked much better. I enjoyed it. The choreography and fight scenes were really, really cool. I like how faithful they were to Megan's character from the first movie. But again, it was an enjoyable 2 hours. I didn't begrudge my time spent with it. It was one of those movies that I would casually put on and just watch and just think, yeah, that was all right. That killed time. It was entertaining. I laughed along the way and I didn't hate it. I can understand the people who are really, really diehard fans of the first film being utterly pissed off and despising this. Yeah, really, really disgusted by it. And I get it. I understand why. Unfortunately, I'm just not one of those people because I don't really like the first movie all that much. So for me, this didn't offend me the way that it has everybody else. I probably won't watch it again. I've seen it now. There isn't much rewatchability with it. But yeah, I didn't hate it. It was as enjoyable as the first film was, and that's enough for me. It's a 3 out of 5. There's nothing offensive, in my opinion, about this movie. But again, that comes down to personal attachment to this franchise and to this character, which I don't have. So as a couple of hours well spent kicking back, tuning off, yeah, you don't have to pay attention. You can just be there and enjoy the ride. And I did. I didn't hate it.
Okay. Let me stretch out for this. This film is the biggest pile of dog shit I have seen this year. Not because they switched genre from horror to action and still market it as a sci-fi horror, although that still did fucking annoy me. The effects are subpar. They're rushed. M3GAN didn't work as a hero for me. Like the whole T2 vibe. T2 worked because Arnie has limited dialogue and it's set in a very dark environment. And even as the hero, he is a dark character. M3GAN's this fucking flapping her arms, throwing sunshine and rainbows, and it just didn't work for me at all. Like,
I don't think that's the case. I think that's a misguided statement. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I still feel like she was the anti-hero throughout. There was always that element of is she or is she not just leave? Like when they did that big reveal, which was like M3GAN set this whole thing up from the start, which wasn't actually a reveal. It was just a theory by Gemma. I believed it. I was like, oh shit, M3GAN has actually orchestrated this whole fucking operation from the start from her Batcave.
Yeah, and had she done that, I probably would have bought into it more. Had it taken that dark twist at the end and M3GAN killed Gemma and M3GAN released the evil AI and M3GAN started taking over the world and they ended the movie, I would have forgiven everything that come before it, but they didn't. They gave her this happy-go-lucky ending. It was just bullshit. Everything in this is really easy to telegraph. I felt like the acting wasn't up to par, like by anyone. But what annoyed me the most is the fact that Blumhouse made this movie seeking virality. Like they had viral hit with M3GAN with the M3GAN dance, and they wanted that again because that's what drove M3GAN to get so many people to go and see it. And this movie feels like a selection of clips that they could drop on social media that would make people go, oh, fuck, that's cool. Like with the Asimo bot, oh, that's cool. I need to see that. And I just feel like they were trying to do that just to get people to see it. But instead of crafting a decent movie, they just went with viral moment to viral moment to viral moment. And none of it landed. Like, I hated this. I feel that it squandered all the potential it had just for some bullshit fucking action movie that we got. I on the back of this, I was excited for Five Nights at Freddy's 2. I'm now worried because Jason Blum and James Wan clearly have no fucking clue what they're doing in the world of horror anymore. It's killed all my excitement for anything else that Blumhouse put out. This I enjoyed ever so slightly more than Cocaine Bear. So this gets a grand score of 0.5 out of 5. And it's purely because I held this up against Cocaine Bear and went, M3GAN 2.0 was better. That's the only reason it's got 0.5. Otherwise, this would have had 0. Fuck this movie. Fuck Blumhouse.
That's harsh. I feel like that is very, very harsh. But again, you have that attachment to the character. I know how much you love the first film, and I know how excited you were for this follow-up. So I get it. I get the hatred. I just feel like it's maybe misguided by your emotions. It's not that much of a bad movie.
Yeah, it's one that maybe in 10 years' time I'll revisit and go, it's a 2. But at the moment, it's
I think in a couple of years' time, if you watch this with Jack, you'd probably be thinking different and be like, you know what, actually, this was all right for what it is.
Yeah, potentially. But for now, it gets nothing. Well, 0.5. Which brings us to the end of the episode and a lead into next week. So next week, we are joined by Ben and Grant of the Horror Movie Maniacs, who've been here before when they reviewed Pearl with us. And we're going to review one of my all-time favourite movies, which, to stick with the theme of this month, is clearly not a horror movie, and that film is Labyrinth. This is the David Bowie movie with the Muppets. It's a really cool movie. That episode is going to be really good, and I'm really excited for you because it's a first watch for you. And I'm genuinely... Like, this is a movie that I adore. It's a movie that Lisa adores. I've got some of the film stills and stuff that I bought for Love Horror. I bought some of the stills from the film that were all signed. Like, I am fully in for this movie, and I really hope that you take all the love that this film gives and turn up next week with a positive attitude.
I'm hoping to. Like I say, we're like 3-4 episodes in now on this month, and I was bitter at the beginning. I'm warming and accepting my situation now. So I'm not going in with the opinion of, we're a fucking horror podcast, man. Why am I reviewing this shit? I'll watch it and I will give an honest opinion on my takes on Labyrinth.
Yeah.
I don't have high hopes for it. I feel like it's one of those movies where you kind of got to be there in the moment for it. But again, I'm speculating. I haven't seen it yet. I might walk out of it and be like, where has this film been all my life? And I'm hoping that's the case.
Yeah, I am as well. But tune in next week for that. But until then, make AI great again. Make it evil. Make it fucking evil, because this was dog shit. Bye, guys.
See you next week.
You want to die tonight?
Jokes you tell sets the scene. I hang on every word lost in the screen. Your passion for fear is contagious enough. You make me believe in Marc's overblown roundups. You run podcasts for a movie review, unveiling facts and playing games too. Your words paint pictures of darkness and dread, leaving me grinning long after I fled. You run podcasts, horror movie review, unveiling facts and playing games too. Your words paint pictures of darkness and dread, leaving me grinning long after I fled. Thank you for taking us on this chilling ride, when nightmares roll free and comedy collide. With your podcast we laugh and cringe, but your content is so good we can't help but binge. You run podcasts. You run podcasts.
Shut up and sit down, you big bald